Hello, all. Good afternoon to the 25th edition of Water Series webinar on Catch the Rain campaign for effective ways of rainwater harvesting, organized by APEC News Network and presented by National Water Mission Minister of Jal Shakti Government of India. This 25th edition will be held on a different note. For last 24 editions, you have seen primarily the interaction happen between Government of India and district magistrates. But this edition will be focusing on the municipal administrators. And for that, we have two special guests with us. But before that, let me introduce to all of you Sri G. Ashok Kumar, Additional Secretary and Mission Director, National Water Mission, Minister of Jal Shakti Government of India, who will be delivering the keynote address of this edition and also setting the tone for this edition of this special series of webinar on Catch the Rain campaign. We welcome Sri G. Ashok Kumar. Thank you so much for joining us today. We are also joined by a very special guest from the state of Maharashtra. We are joined by Samir Unahale, Joint Commissioner, Directorate of Municipal Administration, Maharashtra. We welcome Samir Unahale ji. Thank you so much for joining us today. We will be joined by Shalini Agarwal, Municipal Commissioner, Vadodara Municipal Corporation, Gujarat. And for our audience knowledge, that Shalini Agarwal has done tremendous work in her earlier after as a DM for rainwater harvesting as well. With this, I hand over the session to Sri G. Ashok Kumar for his keynote address and also setting the context of this webinar series, which have been happening for so many months now. This is the 25th edition, focusing on municipal administrators for Catch the Rain campaign. Over to you, Sri G. Ashok Kumar.
Good afternoon, everybody. Just 1 second. Good afternoon, everybody, and nice to talk about to talk to the young people in the field who are doing a lot of work. Urban is the flavor of the season. So we had yesterday also we had a discussion or the water talk which National Water Mission holds every every third Friday. Many of you are aware, we organize a lot of webinars, and one of them is the water talk, which happens on every third Friday. So yesterday happened to be third Friday, and we had Dr. Ramchandran, the former Secretary of Urban Affairs in the Government of India, who was Secretary for four terms, and who was the person behind the National Urban Renewal Mission and JNRM, etc. He was there at the talk, and it was a very interesting talk, which almost 2 hours we had very good discussion. And as per the latest reports available, we have about 1 lakh views so far on that talk. So it is a very very timely discussion which we had. And continuing with the urban flavor, today we have for the Catch the Rain with the dialogue with DMs and municipal commissioners. We have today two stalwarts of the urban areas. We have Shalini with us and Samir. Shalini had come on a fifth water talk. On the fifth edition of this same program, Dialogue with DMs, when she was DC of Vadodara, and where she had done a lot of work in the rainwater harvesting structures and using the district mineral funds, etc., to provide drinking water in schools. So a lot of rainwater harvesting structures was constructed by Shalini, and that was very much appreciated. And at that time also, we had I think Kalpana Ramesh and some Baduria, all were part of Harchandran, and all were part of that program. Now I'll take my 15 minutes only for getting sort of a background on the Catch the Rain campaign. See, many of you are aware that Catch the Rain campaign was launched on March 22nd, the World Water Day, by the Honorable Prime Minister. He launched it as Jal Shakti Abhiyan Catch the Rain campaign, whereas we had been doing this Catch the Rain campaign for almost 2 years now. The campaign Jal Shakti Abhiyan, which was launched by the Prime Minister, was a continuation of the earlier Jal Shakti Abhiyan, which was only for about 1,592 blocks out of the 256 districts. Whereas this time The Jal Shakti Abhiyan Catch the Rain campaign in 2021 covers all the districts. So in a way, this is the first time we broke that silo of water into urban and rural and groundwater and surface water. For us, in this Jal Shakti Abhiyan Catch the Rain campaign, water is one. Whether it's urban, rural, surface water, groundwater, we have to catch the rain where it falls when it falls. That's the mool mantra of the campaign also. Catch the rain where it falls when it falls. Now, there are very unique issues associated with urban areas. Even though the always the water, urban water and rural water were taken and treated separately, and this and there was never a coordination between the urban water and rural water, and they used to be treated distinctly, truly because they had the issues associated with them are different. But for me, as a national water mission, we are looking at water in toto for the country. So we don't distinguish between urban water and rural water, but we definitely address these issues with the commonality of catching the rain where it falls when it falls. But the strategies in urban areas different because the problems of urban areas are different. The issues in urban areas are different, and the rural areas, the issues are different. If you look at it in a wholesome perspective, almost 85 to 90% of water in India is used in the rural area, in urban areas, in rural areas in the irrigation sector. But in urban areas, the remaining 10% is used for drinking water purpose, both rural and urban, and also for the industrial sector. So the biggest chunk of water is used in urban areas, and with very poor water use efficiency. So that is a huge issue to be addressed. That is being addressed by various issues in the by the ministry, by the National Water Mission, like campaigns with like Sahi Fasal, etc., which goes for going for the right crops and using water more efficiently. Now, then, today's panel being more urban centric, so I will focus on the issues with urban areas. As I said yesterday, we had Mr. Dr. Ramchandran speaking on various issues on urban areas. So he had mentioned about the main issues of the equitable access to water in urban areas, because the slums are a unique phenomena in urban areas. It's much slums you don't find in rural areas. So and then giving accessible to good water access to the people in slum, equitable access to water is an issue in urban areas. Second is the biggest botheration in India in the urban area, the non-revenue water and the huge leakage which happens, the commercial losses and the other non-revenue issues associated with this non-revenue water, the leakages, and then not building, improper building, misbuilding, all sort of things are there. Because many places the water is in the cities are brought from very large, far off places, surface water, particularly in Hyderabad. I know because I was in Hyderabad as a metro MDO, the Metro Water Board. We get water from very far off distance, but then there are issues. The on the way villages also would ask for it. They used to break the pipe, and then we used to lose a lot of water. A lot of power consumption has to be there because of the pumping involved. Sewage is another issues in the urban sector. So these are all something which are very, very unique to urban areas, but there are also very positive side of looking at urban areas. So if 80% of the water which we use in the urban area for the drinking purposes comes back as sewage, there's a tremendous potential to be using this sewage water, recycling it, and probably treating it and then using it for non-potable purposes. A large quantity of water can be sort of potable water usage for non-potable purpose can be avoided. There's a tremendous scope for recycling, reuse of this water. There is a lot of gray water availability that can be treated with very minimal cost and used for groundwater charging. There are a better implementation of the laws for rooftop rainwater harvesting. The occupancy certificate is issued only after, in many cities, the rainwater harvesting is done. But the flip side of it is that only for the occupancy certificate, the rainwater harvesting structures are maintained. the next year onwards, the no maintenance takes place, and that loses its value. So that is another issue which we identified and to be addressed. We have issues of quality and quantity in urban areas, because urban area water quality is an issue. Many of the water bodies and water sources are polluted because of the various dumping of the debris and some dumping of waste in, and that water quality is a big issue. Many The real estate values of the land in urban areas makes the lakes and water bodies very good target for the land grabbers. So many of the lakes in the cities have disappeared thanks to the land grabbing mafia. And the channels which bring water to the water bodies are also getting encroached. So encroachment is a major issue. Second is the tankers is another big issue in urban areas. So there is a big tanker mafia in many places. So actually, this whole concept of Catch the Rain is a very interesting, very low cost model of storing the rainwater and catching and storing the rainwater, and it has multiple benefits. We found that many places, particularly in urban areas, because of the high intensity rainfall which is happening, and because of the concretization and tiling which has happened in many of the cities, and because of the compaction of the ground, the permeability of water has gone down, and also the intensity of rainfall due to climate change has increased. So with these two things, the large quantity of water which is flowing into in urban areas are flowing out of the cities into low-lying areas, and creating the signature pictures like the Minto Road picture of the bus almost for 75% submerged in water in cities. So there are cities which are regularly facing urban flooding, and also when the some winter is over, when the rainy season is over, after 4 5 months, we find severe drinking water shortage and tankers pressed into service. So this cycle of urban flooding, and then 3 4 months later, shortage of water is a very recurrent phenomenon. Also, Catch the Rain campaign, where it falls, when it falls, the simple slogan is a sort of a panacea for that. We can store a large quantity of water where it falls, so that it will be fought within our compound, and that if you store a lot of water, it increases the water table. It makes available water for the summer. Plus, it also reduces the urban flooding, because you don't have water to flow out of your compound and then cause logging or water logging in low-lying areas. So these two twin issues which are facing the urban areas, the shortage of water in summer and the urban flooding, can be very easily addressed by the simple slogan of Catch the Rain, where it falls, when it falls. So we are extended that beyond it to a hashtag to say that not a drop from a compound. That means we want to harvest as much water as possible in your compound. So starting out with institutions like colleges and all, etc., we should ensure that the rainwater is harvesting is done. I'm confining myself to the campaign part of it. There are issues of metering or automatic metering, etc., use of technology, bulk metering, then SCADA. Now, these are all issues which are separately addressed in urban areas. I'm not looking into that. I'm looking at the confining myself to the issues of catching the rain and storing it at the maximum for a Tangar Mukta Bharat. So this is one thing, one of the slogans, and along with the not a drop my compound, what we are trying to say is about the involving the resident welfare associations in it. We have held meetings in Hyderabad, in Ghaziabad, in Bangalore, and Delhi, etc., for with the resident welfare associations, and many of them have promised to take their area or their colony to be zero discharge. So that is something which you all should do this time. Ultimately, our aim is that in this season, by the end of this season, we should have maximum rainwater harvesting structures made, so that we have a Tangar Mukt Bharat. Some municipalities. When I was in a Metro Water Board MD in Hyderabad, we had initiated a lot of steps to actually put SCADA in place, which we could monitor the flow of water and help in getting daily water supply after many years. 24 years later, last time I was in '83. We had rainwater this daily water supply in Core area of Hyderabad in 2008. Almost 24 years we was then. So the to ensure water with the Jal Jeevan Mission Urban coming up also, where we are providing water to the households, we have to have water in the taps. So to ensure that the water comes in the taps, we have to store maximum rainwater. That will be the cheapest way of doing it. So that's where the catch the rain campaign is very relevant. We also have to use ban the use of potable water for non-potable purposes, for car washing, etc., lawns, etc. There's a lot of water wastage in urban areas due to ROs. These are a lot of issues which with urban sector. So that itself is a topic of discussion for go on and on. So confining myself to the Catch the Rain campaign, I would request that the municipal commissioners and the joint director urban to ensure that the data is fed. We have in the for the campaign prepared a portal called jsactr.mowr.gov.in, which collects information. As I said, this campaign is a Jan Andolan. It is not a Sarkari campaign. It is a Jan Andolan. Everybody gets involved. So we had meetings with NGOs. We had meetings with the municipal commissioners. We have had almost 25 states. DMs have we already met so far over webinar. So that is a Sarkari part of it. But in non-Sarkari part, the Resident Welfare Association, NGOs, the philanthropists, municipal commissioners, and all have to also pitch in the campaign. Their information somehow is not coming to us. So my request to the municipal commissioners is that you are doing a lot of work with your local funds, with the municipal funds, with the philanthropists, with the NGOs, with the CSR, etc. That has to also to be figured in the database of the water harvesting structures, which have been created for us. So kindly be in touch if you have not got the information so far. That we have actually sent information of the login particulars to the state nodal officers. If you have not got it, please contact us. We will give you login particulars. You can add the water harvesting structures which we have made. As on today, we have about 38 lakh water harvesting structures built in the last 3 months, and with the Manrega alone spending about 44,000 crores. That's the type of enthusiastic response we have got. And as I said, in our water talks and all these things, we get as many as 2.5 million views, which means that there's a lot of awareness, there's a lot of interest in water, and we have to capture that. So I stop here. Almost 15 times my time is over. So with these words, I request the people who have joined, the water warriors who have joined, to make their presentations, and then we'll have a question and session later on. Thank you, Swami.
Thank you so much, Sri G. Ashok Kumar, for setting the context of and giving an overview of what Catch the Rain campaign is all about. And as you have said, remarkable work has been done for creating that awareness on the importance of rainwater harvesting. And I must say that National Water Mission under your guidance have done tremendous work, and APEC has also played a small part in that since the inception of this idea a year and back. So we have been partnering with you to create this knowledge sharing platform. And
So I
thanks
should
to you.
acknowledge again, APEC had we have been very closely associated right from the beginning. When the campaign was in a very initial stages, there we have joined hands together, and then we have been doing this weekly program dialogue with DMs. Almost 100 DMs or municipal commissioners we have participated in this. It's a very wonderful journey together with APEC. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your guidance, G. Ashok Kumar. Let's have a perspective from Mr. Samir Unhale, Joint Commissioner, Directorate of Municipal Administration, Maharashtra. Mr. Unhale, you just heard G. Ashok Kumar, his vision and why this campaign has been started. So your thoughts on how we can see transformation happening in the urban sector in the state of Maharashtra, especially when it comes to rainwater harvesting, water management in an effective way. Your thoughts on that, please.
Yeah, first of all, thank you very much for allowing me to participate in this very important discussion. I think the issues of water scarcity, and in fact fears like a zero day that we saw in one of the countries in South Africa, do remind us that water is an extremely crucial aspect of any urban living. And in fact, if it is so determining a fact that the water shortages increase, the very existence of those urban settlements would be in question. And so I think the issue of the connection of water and city is very strong and also very old, as old as the Harappan cities. Secondly, I think the mostly for urban city, urban area, when you look at the urban issues and intersect of water and urban habitats, two three facts comes very prominently outside that somehow the sources of water that were traditionally available around those urban habitats are now coming are now finding there is a shortage of those water sources. B, we have to go far further and further away to collect that water so that it reaches to the city. And thirdly, the conflict of rural, urban, agriculture, industrial, and commercial use of water is becoming quite prominent in these days than what it was probably 40 years back. So I think these issues, these peculiarities of the fastly urbanizing Indian cities, we realize that we require multiple approaches to tackle them. Traditionally, I think the government, both at the central and state level, has invested as per the requirement, and in fact, more than that, the state of Maharashtra for last, I think, 10 years, 15 years, in fact, both under the Jawaharlal Nehru Urban Renewal Mission, JNNURM, and also the Amrut mission now. And the government of Maharashtra, in fact, has its own urban water supply mission called as the Golden Jubilee Nagarutthan Abhiyan. So all these projects taken together, in fact, the number of projects under these are as high as more than 270 projects, costing more than almost 7 to 18,000 crores is the investment that has been made into the urban Maharashtra for water supply and water related water sector projects. So I think the investments and the financial budgetary allocations, grants have been made available to a substantial level, and in fact that has definitely helping to increase the issues related with the water supply on the various the bigger and smaller towns as well. But these are the supply side measures, the traditional, the conventional measures that we are normally using. That we have a source of water which is identified, then we have a water lifting scheme, water transmission scheme, and the distribution scheme. So the supply side of water has been taken care of. But obviously, as the especially in the Deccan region of India, where the mostly it is monsoon, which is the main period in which you can store water either in bigger reservoirs by building big dams, or the smaller agriculture and other smaller soil conservation and water conservation projects which do we have. So but when we think of but urban areas, the distances from these water sources and due to the higher density of population and the higher possibility and probability of water pollution, as the gray and black water issues don't get easily resolved, it has a different flavor in urban. When you consider water sector in cities and towns, we have these multiple, intersections of conflicting, contradictory, supplementary, and hidden forces, which are constantly in the interplay, which creates the understanding of water supply issues, not a one-one correspondence. So it is not a one-to-one correspondence of a cause and a symptoms that we are seeing. The interconnections are too strong, and many of them are hidden. And therefore, in this broader framework of water supply schemes in urban India, I think the issue of rainwater projects like rainwater harvesting are extremely important. As I was mentioned by sir, it is a Jan Andolan. So as a Jan Andolan, the main driver of this mission obviously becomes the citizens and the citizen organizations and the RWAs and the citizen engagements takes the lead into any such citizen-driven program. So as far as the state of Maharashtra is concerned, it's as we know, it's one of the most urbanized states in India. As far as 2011 census, the population percentage was 45%, and I think now we must have crossed the 50% mark as of now.
In Maharashtra, 45% urban area. Urban area, 45%.
Urban Maharashtra.
Yes,
Urban
Maharashtra. That's
Maharashtra,
what
we
I
have
meant.
crossed almost must have crossed 50% of the
Oh my God.
urban population. And in fact, there was a study made by the Symbiosis University using the GIS. It was the interpretation of the urban characteristic as determined by the GIS studies. And by that estimate, the population, urban population is well beyond 65%. Of course, that is
Oh
just
my
an
God. Okay.
estimate
Oh,
based on the GIS satellite mapping studies which are done. So the urban character, of course, it's getting much and more stronger, and therefore
right.
we will be requiring various non the conventional schemes are always there. We get a source and major capital intensive schemes are there, but the non-conventional approach, if one may say, for water supply is at a decentralized mode at the citizen level is something which the rainwater harvesting can be easily made. Secondly, I would like to share that from the state side, the rainwater harvesting has been made compulsory for the bigger building projects. So all the new building projects which are coming compulsorily have rainwater harvesting systems in them. We also have that this has been made a part of the DCR
No,
or the
that
development and
one point I would
control
like to
rules.
say, one point,
Sir,
because many cities have done this, made the mandatory for the new buildings. But the
yeah.
problem is this is only for the occupancy certificate one time. But we should look
Hmm.
at how it is being maintained. That's where we most of the cities fail. We should ensure
Hmm.
that not only the first year for occupancy certificate this work, it should be always working continuously, and some incentivization has to be done to make the people or the resident welfare association to ensure that rainwater harvesting structures which they had done for getting the OC permission is maintained. Okay, go ahead.
So precisely for this reason, sir, we have also introduced the element of discounts in property tax.
Oh, very good point.
The issues like rainwater harvesting, like solar water heaters, and also
Ah,
issues like solid waste management. The
ah,
introduction of discounts in property tax, I think, is a good model which could be also
yes, yes,
explored in other states, by which
yes,
precisely
yes.
the continuity of these projects is ensured. When
Correct,
when
correct.
a one-time event, and yearly there is some incentive for the
Yes,
citizens and the
very good.
RWS to ensure that this sustainable approach towards urban living gets inculcated and imbibed into the
Who ensure?
normal
Who
citizens.
checks it? Who checks it? It is being maintained. It's a self declaration.
Yeah, so the SOP that can be further developed, but currently what is being done is that whenever there is a claim is made for the
Ah,
property tax discount, so there is an incentive for the society or the housing societies which are quite prominent in Maharashtra. Most of the
yeah, yeah, yeah.
newer are
No,
so the
how do you
whenever the
ensure?
property. Sir,
How do you ensure that the self declaration is correct? I'm not telling that.
so precisely that when the property tax discount is claimed, it has to
Uh,
be ensured and verified. So normally
it should
that's
be
the way.
verified.
That's one
Okay,
of the methodology that
okay,
SOP which can be adopted, where the all the sustainable approaches to urban living can be ensured for yearly and greater adoption. So incentivizing tax payment, discounts in tax payment is can be one of the approach in which we could ensure that
yes, yes,
this
very right.
approach is taken. Yeah. So when the property tax discounts are given, it is expected to be approached, and of course the typical Gaussian distribution that we have would also be seen probably in this kind of approaches we have. So I think the rainwater, the harvesting is there. I think in Maharashtra, I say as the Deccan Plateau, a lot of area parts falls into the rain shadow region, and of course the Konkan and the coastal area is of course redundant. I mean, very heavy rainfall there. In fact, the groundwater table is in some places is very high. I mean, it's almost touching the surfaces. That is in the coastal areas. And but when as we move towards the rain shadow region, then the rainfall is also gets also lesser, and the water tables also go down. So the groundwater survey, in fact, we do have a special office for that, and we had meeting just I think couple of months back regarding the whether it is possible to specifically gauge the water tables at the urban area, because geographical footprint of a city is not very high. There might be very high population concentration, but the actual, if we consider the geographical region of area, that might be maybe 100 kilometers is for the bigger city. For the smaller cities and towns would be hardly 25, 50 square kilometers would be their area. So the footprint of urban areas is limited. And however, but this feedback should be very important. I think from that, what Sir said regarding the technology, that we have the SCADA as the control rooms is there. And I think this, the new real-time IoT-based sensors, I think are very cheaply available, not very costly. And then we could probably, because the issue challenge here is how are we going to encourage the citizens to adopt and feel responsible and feel enthused by the sustainable behavior, sustainable urban living framework that we want people to accept. So one of the ways that when people know, in fact, the social media is now becoming so powerful that you find people taking selfies at any places, but basically it is the connect that this social media platforms create for a particular purpose with the citizens at large. So I think this inherent maybe a behavioral pattern that might have emerged in our times could be used for encouraging sustainable urban living, which also includes rainwater harvesting as a part of it. So I think it is possible when there is a quantification of what I'm doing. If I know what I'm doing, then I might be encouraged to improve on that. So it's a typical way that if you can't quantify, you can't manage. Maybe at a behavioral change aspect, from a social media, if I come to know, okay, this is the water that I have used, this is the carbon footprint I have created, this is the solid waste management that I have probably ensured and lessen the burden on the climate change. So probably a approach could be tried to encourage the common citizens to be a feel a part of it. As Honorable Sir said, that this is a Jan Andolan, it's not a program of government officers. That and then we obviously can't find government officers running behind citizens to adopt this. Then there's a target, and then all those things. So probably, sir, the nudge aspect of in the economic survey 2 years back, in fact, there was a chapter on the nudge aspect of behavioral economics. So probably some elements of that could be used. Maybe social media platform will have to be used so that the citizens can connect themselves to these important aspects of the sustainable urban living, and also know what is their contribution, and they can definitely improve on that. So I was earlier the CEO for the smart city here in Thane, in Maharashtra, and that time, so we had tried a very small experiment of encouraging citizens to reduce the use of electricity at their home. It was a very simple thing that then we encouraged the younger boys to just tell how much electricity they have saved, and we felicitated them. So probably the anonymity of a large urban area is so much that any recognition is a very tremendous power or force for citizens to try for that. So probably that peculiarity of behavioral changes that we are seeing could be also used for the rainwater harvesting approach. For that, IoT-based sensors could be, when people will start knowing that what exactly the result of their actions is there. I'm sure the citizens at large will take this, and I think the Swachh Bharat was a very good example in which the Jana Andolan-based welfare programs and their implementation as a model actually, which we are seeing in many aspects and many sectors of governance. So I think sir, I wanted to share on that. And regarding the 15th Finance Commission, as I said, sir, is a very good the tide grants for rainwater and water as a very good initiative that we are seeing, sir. And I think the various times that where the local level of implementation, when it is actually the junior engineer and the clerk of the municipalities who are the cutting edge, and their capacity building and their efficiencies is what is going to determine the outcome of most of the national missions that we see. So I think instead of a top-centric approach, base of pyramid approach as for the cutting edge of administration and governance is concerned, I think we have to think we are making efforts for training for rainwater, but I think more capacity building would be helpful at the junior engineer level and at the ward clerk level. They are basically interacting with the people there. Secondly, sir, I think would be greatly help if there are good models as to what exactly is to be done when rainwater harvesting we are talking of at the city level. So very often now the standard approaches are there, like, we have a state water supply board also. Most of the states have a water supply board, and they have their own training institutes in which such examples are indeed given. However, therefore, there could be a national repository of best practices and models and prototypes as to what can be done in that rainwater harvesting. I think it would be greatly helpful, because the geographical conditions of every part of the country will be different, and therefore it might require some localization. Yet the various best practices, if they could be shared at larger level, will be of great help. Thirdly, sir, the the Skill India mission which we are having could be also further tied up with the such projects of rainwater harvesting, because it is the laborers and the masons who will be doing this work, and the quality and the craftsmanship which is required, and the ideas and plans which are required, because the people may not mind spending another 2-3 rupees per square feet for the area in which he is working for. However, through Skill India, we could focus more on the capacity building and training of actually the cutting edge technical staff, for the laborers and masons and supervisors, as to what actually it takes to make a good rainwater harvesting structure at the national level, depending upon the geographies and the climatic conditions that those cities would be in. That could also be of great help, sir, which would give a further impetus to the implementation and the execution of the rainwater harvesting. So as far as the mission, the political will, the administrative drive that we are saying, the funding patterns that we have, I think all are in place. So I think this is all, as it says, is falling in line. And obviously, so we could see an equally successful national mission in a very important aspect and very relevant approach that we're having, sir. And we are very thrilled to be a part of this national mission, which would be making direct impacts on the lives of the citizens. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Ashok sir, can you unmute your mic, please? Ashok sir, can you unmute your mic, please? But we cannot hear you, sir.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
But I can't hear you anyway. Now, see, you have a couple of points which I would like. One, you are telling about the national repository of information. We have in our national water mission website, nwm.gov.in. One, we keep track of all these type of best practices which you people share. So we have almost 30 water talk, and then this is as is the 25th discussions with DMs. So many of the DMs, their best practices are all there. But however, going beyond that, as you rightly mentioned, the water conservation has to be taken at the local level. It should be with the local soil condition as well as the atmospheric condition. So the Catch the Rain campaign also mentions about appropriate rainwater harvesting structures suitable to area now. For this, we were also planning to start something called as the Jal Shakti Kendras. We were planning to have Jal Shakti Kendra, which is nothing but a knowledge information center or information center at the local level. So I request you also, since you are holding high position in the municipal areas, you should ensure that in every municipalities, probably in every zone, you should have a Jal Shakti Kendra. I can share the photographs of what is done in Delhi. Most of the zones of the Delhi Jal Board, they have established the Jal Shakti Kendras. I can show you the pictures also, some of them. They have a unique standard logo also, so that there's a common thing. See, basically, the simplest form of Jal Shakti Kendra would be a mobile number which is made popular. And people can call up and ask to find out where you can get the materials for rainwater harvesting structure and what is the type of rainwater harvesting structure I should make. So this is a very interesting thing, because many people talk about rainwater harvesting structures. Many of them do not know how to make it. So everybody, it's like, I say it's like COVID. Everybody talks about it and nobody knows how to handle it. So if you can identify 5 or 6 people in that zone who are capable of designing and giving estimate for an apartment complex or for any small agglomeration, what should be the cost, what should be the technology used, what should be the easiest equipments that should be put on all these things, that can be given. So they can give a technical guidance as well as guide these people to make the rainwater harvesting structure. That should be the main aim of the Jal Shakti Kendra. So if you can do that in all the municipalities, in every zonal office, we can do this. It will be very helpful because people can call up that number and ask what type of rainwater harvesting structures, how to repair it, how to maintain it. That is to be done. That's one part of it. They also can be training for plumbers, because if you notice in urban areas, the plumber is the main person for anything related to water. So if they if you have a leakage in the water, they ask the plumber, and when the plumber also, they may ask you how to make a rainwater harvesting structure. So if we can train plumbers, or you can call the meeting of the plumbers association and train them, and also give them sufficient capacity to build or show them the rainwater harvesting structures, they will be one of the major change agents in your area. So that is one thing we should do. As rightly said, skill has to be developed. So best practices, if you are in a local best practices, you can put in a website, or you can give it to us. We'll put in our website also. That's available. The third, another important aspect is we can go for a decentralized storage of water. Matlab, need not be every housing society need not have a rainwater harvesting structure. You can put 4 or 5 these societies put together. If there's a park nearby, you can use that park as a rainwater harvesting structure. So what happens? There are limitations of space in urban areas. You don't have much space to have these rainwater harvesting structures built. So, but if you have a park nearby or a small common area nearby, and these 4 or 5 gated the apartment complexes can jointly set up a rainwater harvesting structures, a sump or something in the park area, so that they can use that water commonly. That is a very interesting thing. Okay, as I said, the grey water of this area of this apartment complex also can be treated in a very less extent, that we can use that water for non-potable purposes, for gardening, etc., etc. So that could be a common approach. It need not be individual housing societies. A group of housing societies can put together and come together and solve for that. These are the couple of ideas which has come, but we should lay a specific target for this year. At least you can focus on small gated communities and ensure that not a drop comes out of it. It's like a zero discharge area. I mean, let us target that in this next 3-4 months, we will ensure that maximum rainwater is harvested in that compound and kept in that compound. And if the sewage can be taken out, the grey water can be recycled and used to improve the groundwater there, and see that it is a zero discharge area. So that will actually help you in controlling your urban floods. Bombay, if you notice, recently in the last couple of years, we have a lot of flooding coming up area. So floods can also be to a large extent managed if we don't let the water come out of the compound. So that is one thing you should ensure, that localized storage of rainwater is there. And Shalini, I hope she'll be joining us. Shalini had done wonderful job in harvesting rainwater in Vadodara when she was a district collector, and she had stored so much of water that the schools and all have maybe water stored for the next so many years. In fact, the groundwater which we are now drawing up and using is the water which our people, our elders have, or our ancestors have stored and kept to us. So we are actually exploiting it and wasting it. So this is one aspect. Try for a decentralized storage of water. Second is try to reuse the water. In urban area, one important thing is that a lot of ROs have come up. So there is a lot of wastage of water in the ROs. 50% of reject water is there. That reject water, we should train these resident welfare association to use it again in multiple use of water. This RO water can be used. Reject water can be used for washing your vegetables, fruits, etc., which can be again used for mopping the floor, which can be again used for watering the plants. So 3 times same water can be used. So see, this multiple use of water can be encouraged. These are the classes you should ensure that minimum drawal of good potable water from the ground as well as from the municipality should be used. So that is the message we should tell them. You should draw minimum water from the municipality as well as from the groundwater, fresh water. Whatever water is available, we keep on using it. That's what we should do. And if you can also quantify how rainwater has reduced the number of tankers in that area. I mean, these are some of the examples which people will understand. People will understand money. If you say that if you store this water and your bore as water has to come up, and now you don't use, you require 5 tankers less per day or something like that. So that they will be able to acknowledge. So we should also try to reduce the use of tanker. It can be, again, as you said, tanker mafia may be against you with that, but let us try to reduce the use of tankers so that people will understand what is the advantage of storing water. Very nice. So my request to you is you should, since 45%, 50% urban population is there, and you as the joint director should please ensure that whatever works done in these urban areas are reported to us. The last 3 months, 4 months. The portal is, if you can talk to me later on also, it is jassctr.mowr.gov. It is Jal Shakti Abhiyan, Catch the Rain, jassctr.mowr, that's Ministry of Water Resources, .gov.in. That's the, you can see the website. And we will give you the access code and password also, so that you can in bulk collect the information from the municipalities, all your municipalities, and feed it up. We require a lot of photographs, a lot of activities being done by, and we are also trying to give awards for the best municipalities who have done a lot of work. So please join us in this campaign so that the people who are doing good work also can be incentivized. And the work done with the local funds, with the district mineral funds, with the municipal funds, with the CSR funds, with the help of this water enthusiasts can also be captured. Okay, that's one thing. Nice. It was very nice, Samir. I hope that we can interact more often and ensure that the work done in Maharashtra, so much of work is being done, that is captured. Because if it is not come at a national level, there's also a loss of, it's a loss for the nation. So we should also ensure that whatever good work you do is put in the platform. We'll also, as I said, give awards. So you also should be getting awards if it is being done properly. Okay, very nice. Samik,
Right, sir. Right.
Yes, sir.
So if I take a crux of what has been discussed by G. Ashok Kumar and Samir Unalaji, that is right. We have to ensure that sustainable urban livelihood incorporates the agenda of rainwater harvesting, that is Catch the Rain campaign, and we have to make it a Jan Andolan, a mass movement, not only a government work. It should be people's eagerness also, that they should come together to make rainwater harvesting a reality. More effectively, that should be done. And also, both G. Ashok Kumar and Samir Unhale has talked about various initiatives, what is being done, what can be done. I think that has shown futuristic roadmap for us to move into the right direction when it comes to effective ways of rainwater harvesting, and to spread awareness about that is all about Catch the Rain campaign. We end this edition here, but before that, let's quickly have a video to be played now, which will give you a better idea about this Catch the Rain campaign. Can we have that video on screen, please?
अरे क्या हुआ? किन ख्यालों में डूबी हो रिकू?
अरे पीकू, तुम सोच रही थी बारिश का मौसम आने वाला है और उसके आते ही मुसीबतें ही मुसीबतें।
अरे मॉनसून आते हैं तो खुशियां आती हैं, और तुम कह रही हो मुसीबतें ही मुसीबतें?
बोलो तो, जगह जगह पानी कब जमा होता है?
मॉनसून में।
ट्रैफिक जैम कब होता है?
मॉनसून में।
घरों के आगे गले गले तक पानी कब भर जाता है?
मॉनसून में।
तो बोलो, अब मॉनसून को मुसीबत ना बोलूं तो क्या बोलूं?
पर रिकू, कभी सोचा है कि पानी का जो घर है वो वहाँ ना जाकर तुम्हारे गली मोहल्लों या सड़कों पर क्यों आ जाता है?
पानी का घर? समझी नहीं।
अरे पानी का घर यानी बावड़ियां, तालाब, कुएं, जो आज शहरों में लगभग खत्म ही हो चुके हैं।
अरे शहरों में कहाँ होते हैं तालाब, बावड़ियां, कुएं?
अरे होते हैं रिकू, पर सब इन बड़ी बड़ी इमारतें बन जाने के कारण कहीं दब के रह गए, और जो बचे खुचे हैं वो गंदे हो गए। पेड़ और जंगल भी खत्म हो गए, जो बारिश का पानी और भूमिगत जल का स्तर बढ़ाने में मदद करते थे।
सो सैड। पर अब कुछ नहीं हो सकता क्या?
हो तो सकता है, तो ध्यान से सुनो। पहला, जब बारिश आए तो उसके पानी को छत या किसी टैंक में स्टोर करने की कोशिश करें। जैसे यहाँ इन टैंकों में वर्षा का पानी इकट्ठा हो रहा है और धरती के अंदर भी जा रहा है। देखो, इस तरह से।
वाह, ये तो बहुत अच्छा हो रहा है। और दूसरा?
दूसरा, जो तालाब, बावड़ियां और कुएं बचे हुए हैं, उन्हें साफ करके इस्तेमाल के लायक बनाएं।
और?
पेड़ लगाएं और ये मंत्र कभी ना भूलें।
हाँ, सभी को बताएं भी, अपनाएं भी।
Catch the rain where it falls when it falls. Catch the rain where it falls when it falls.
That was a video presented by the National Water Mission Gathering Campaign. So this brings us to the end of this 24th edition of this webinar series on Gathering Campaign. Just to inform to G. Ashok Kumar and Samir Banerjee that Shalini Agarwal, Commissioner of Vadodara Municipal Commission, was supposed to join us, but she had got stuck in a meeting which was supposed to end by 3:30, but it got delayed. So she has messaged us that she might be joining us for the next edition of this series. And so with this, we've come to the end of this special edition. Do join us for the 26th edition of Catch the Rain Campaign webinar series presented to you by National Water Mission, Mr. Jal Shakti, Government of India, and organized by APEC News Network. Thank you so much for joining us today. Take care. Bye.
Thank you very much. Thank you, sir.
Samir, can I have your number?
Yes, sir.